Welcome back to High Stakes. Today, we will be discussing the following NFL matches that is happening on Sunday, October 29th, 2023. We will be providing our team, total, and prop picks for the day. Before we get started, please remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. If you want access to our premium picks, you can check out our Patreon page. You can find the link to our Patreon page in the description and comments section below. New Orleans Saints versus Indianapolis Colts. Both of these teams are in dire need of victories, as they've encountered a rough patch in recent weeks. The Indianapolis Colts have suffered consecutive losses, with one particularly painful defeat to the Cleveland Browns, a game they were leading late. Meanwhile, the New Orleans Saints have experienced a slump, losing 4 of their last 5 games. The primary focus in this matchup is on the passing game, with Gardner Minshew finding his rhythm and the Colts emerging as a top-tier offensive unit. The Saints heavily rely on their passing game, but they've been struggling to reach the end zone. In this game, I'm leaning towards the Colts due to their performance in the previous week. They came very close to defeating the Cleveland Browns with an effective passing attack. If they can replicate that performance on Sunday, they should secure an easy victory, especially considering the Saints' difficulties in scoring quickly and in large numbers. My pick is to take the Colts with the points. The Colts have scored a ton against almost every team that they have faced this year, which is why the over has hit more times than not. Defensively, the Colts have allowed an average of 38 points in their last 2 games and have gone over in 3 of their last 4 games. Minshew can be productive, but also a turnover machine that leads to points for the opponent. The Colts' offense will be too strong and they will put up at least 28 points, and Carr is too good to not get the offense to 17 points. Take the over on Sunday. Next we have Baltimore Ravens versus Arizona Cardinals. The burning question this season revolves around how the Arizona Cardinals can overcome the Dallas Cowboys. This question looms large in the minds of sports analysts as they dissect the upcoming game against the Baltimore Ravens, especially when considering the point spread. The current line for this game features a substantial 9.5-point advantage for the Ravens. The Ravens have been consistently scoring an average of 24 points per game and are arriving on the heels of one of their most impressive performances in recent years, particularly a dominant win over the Detroit Lions. This victory reinforced the belief that the Ravens are a formidable team in the NFL. In contrast, the Cardinals have been averaging 18 points per game but seem to be regressing as the season progresses. To illustrate, they've only managed to score 18 points in total in their last 2 games. Not only has their scoring output dwindled, but they have also suffered double-digit losses in all 4 games since their triumph over the Cowboys. The NFL can be unpredictable in scenarios like this. While the Ravens might have the potential to overwhelm the Cardinals, they have 5 more games to play before their bye week and a total of 10 games remaining before the playoffs. The Ravens are currently in good health and are keen to maintain their status. In all likelihood, they will approach this game with a relatively conservative offensive strategy, keeping their focus on the matchup against the 4-2 Seahawks next week. When teams have their sights set on future games, turnovers tend to occur. A prime example of this can be found in the game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Jets, where the Eagles lost 20-14. In that contest, QB Jalen Hurts threw 3 interceptions and had 1 fumble, while the Jets effectively protected the football, securing the victory. The Cardinals may not be favored to win this game, especially since Lamar Jackson boasts a remarkable 15-1 record in games against the NFC throughout his career. Nevertheless, the Cardinals' positive turnover margin could prove advantageous in this situation. In the end, the Ravens are on the road for this game, sandwiched between 2 recent home victories and 3 more upcoming home games in succession. This creates an opportune situation for taking the underdog at home to cover the point spread. Furthermore, the betting market will likely take into account the Ravens' 5-2 record against the spread, which will prompt adjustments. The current line appears inflated, so we're taking a leap of faith and picking the Cardinals at plus 9.5. This will be a lighter load for the Ravens' offense in this game with a vanilla game plan. The Ravens will run the ball and try to get the win as fast as possible to get out of the desert and return to Baltimore for their next 3 games against tougher opponents. Additionally, the Ravens' offense is efficient with a 46.3% third down conversion rate, meaning they will be able to extend drives. This all adds up to a running clock. The odds are the Ravens will score less than their average of 24. The Cardinals' offense has been challenged this season, especially of late. Their matchup this weekend against one of the NFL's stingiest defenses makes for a long day. However, the Cardinals are 6th in the nation in the rushing department with 139 yards per game, almost matching the Ravens' 145. They will focus on the rush, trying to shorten the game, and maybe, just maybe, try to find a way to shock the Ravens as they did the Cowboys. The clock is going to keep ticking in this one, and the Cardinals will have trouble scoring. Bet this one early to beat the closing line, as it is likely to drop toward game time. Play the under 45. Next we have Jacksonville Jaguars versus Pittsburgh Steelers. NFL teams have a 7-4-1 ATS record before their bye weeks this season, but it's worth noting that 4 of those 7 wins have been claimed by the underdogs. However, the Jacksonville Jaguars are in a unique situation here. Their scenario is a bit concerning overall because none of those pre-bye week situations involved a team that had spent 2 weeks in London, England, and then faced the challenge of a Sunday through Thursday turnaround. I personally consider this to be an unfavorable situation for wagering on a road team, especially in a game that's anticipated to be closely contested. In retrospect, if the Jaguars end up losing this game, it could easily be chalked up as a scheduling loss when reviewing their season's record, particularly when we discuss next season's previews. With a total of 41 points indicating that the Jaguars' offense is unlikely to dominate, despite appearing stronger on paper, and given the challenging situation, my preference is to support the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game and hope they continue to find a way to succeed. Pittsburgh has repeatedly demonstrated their ability to perform well in these closely contested games, and considering it's a home game for them, I'm willing to take the risk with the points. Hard not to like the under here, as Pittsburgh's offense can't be expected to run away with this one and score 28-plus points without benefiting from a couple of turnovers, as they'll spend 40% of their offensive plays calling runs and bashing their heads into the wall of that great Jacksonville defense. Pickett isn't going to be out there taking too many chances in the passing game, as it's just not his style, and any game that sees the Steelers with a chance to win throughout likely means they contain Trevor Lawrence and that Jags offense as well. After Lawrence's comments about the terrible towel earlier this week, I'd guess that Steelers defense is a little anxious to get a crack at him as well. A 20-17 type game for either side is really what this game feels like to me, as touchdowns will be hard to come by against both of these defenses without the big play. Take under 41. Next we have Houston Texans versus Carolina Panthers. The Houston Texans have fielded an impressive and dynamic offense, led by C.J. Stroud, who has also excelled in protecting the football. The Texans' passing game is poised to pose difficulties for the Carolina defense, which notably struggled against the Miami Dolphins, Detroit Lions, and Seattle Seahawks. On the other hand, the Carolina Panthers have encountered significant issues with their running game, making it even more challenging for them to find success against the Houston Texans defense. Notably, this season, the Texans boast a 4-2 record against the spread, while the Panthers are at 0-5-1, and when playing as a home underdog, their record is 0-1-1. Considering these factors, it's advisable to pick the Texans with a 3.5-point spread. Along with taking the Texans, take the under 43.5 points, as this Carolina Panthers offense will have a hard time scoring points against Houston. The Texans have a stingy defense that doesn't allow a ton of points, while Bryce Young also has a problem turning the ball over, which will limit points on the board for the Panthers. This season, Houston is 4-2 in hitting the under, and on the road are 2-1. Although Carolina has been more known to hit the over, it is more so due to the fact that their defense gives up too many points. Houston doesn't have as good of an offense as the likes of the Lions and Dolphins, so take the under here. Take under 43.5 points. Next we have Los Angeles Rams versus Dallas Cowboys. Placing a touchdown-sized bet on a road team in a divisional game is rarely an enjoyable prospect. However, given the performance we've witnessed from Howell this season, it's apparent that he is still adjusting to the pace of the professional leagues. One notable concern for the pass-focused Commanders is the duration for which Howell retains possession of the football. The Philadelphia defense line is expected to capitalize on this and create disruption behind the line of scrimmage. Moreover, the Commanders' vulnerability to significant plays over the top should provide opportunities for the Eagles' wide receivers to make substantial gains in this matchup. With these considerations in mind, I recommend taking the Philadelphia Eagles with a -7-point spread. When the Eagles' ground game is working, they are not afraid to put together 7-minute drives and milk the clock, particularly when they have the lead. The Eagles have still struggled in the red zone, which has been a bright spot for the Commanders' defense. The Commanders' offense has struggled all season, and turning over the play calling shouldn't cause an immediate change in how Howell reads the defense. I expect the Washington offense to struggle to gain traction while Philadelphia strings together long, drawn-out drives. The play is the under. Next we have Los Angeles Rams versus Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys' offense is expected to perform steadily, maintaining consistent movement both on the ground and through the air, thus accumulating a significant number of points. For these compelling reasons, I'm confident in endorsing the Cowboys to cover their spread in this game. On the other end, the Rams have rolled out a quietly effective defense, with 5 of their first 7 games going under the given total. Expect the Cowboys to struggle at times and come away with plenty of empty possessions. For these reasons, I am confident in taking the under for this game.